today I'm with my new friend Bakunzi Matemane.
Yeah, almost
Mate,
Matemane.
Matemane.
There you go.
Matemane. All right, man. That's a cool name. And Bakunzi lives in Jamaica.
Yeah,
One love, man. That's what I'm talking about. One love.
that's what's up.
And
Yep.
and Bakunzi, you originate from London, and you are a traveler and a networker, and you kind of hop back and forth, although you've been in Jamaica for quite some time, correct?
Yeah, I was born in London. My mother's Jamaican. My father's from Congo, and I was lucky or fortunate. My mother allowed me to go to boarding school in Jamaica in my teens. But it's like for the Afro-Caribbean community in London, we usually go back to Jamaica for summer holidays. That's always our wish. So it's not that
Yeah.
it was I'd never been. So yeah,
Yeah, man, that's awesome. You're living the dream. Well,
I am.
let's pull up. I'm going to share a map of Jamaica so that the viewers can see where it's at. Hold on, I thought I had one up. Let me see. Here it is. Okay. Boom. All right. So for those out there that have never been to Jamaica and have dreamed of going, it's in the Caribbean. It's by just just near all of these awesome islands. Haiti, Dominican Republic, you got Cuba, close to the Bahamas, not far from Venezuela, close
Mhm.
to Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize. You're in the center of it all, man.
Oh yeah, we're 100. I think if you look just that way, I could see the sea. 100 miles from Cuba.
Wow. Wow. Very nice. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks again, Bakunzi, for taking the time out to do this today, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about, who you are. Um, you know, we know you're London and your
Mhm.
mother is Jamaican. Tell us how you landed in Jamaica, how long you plan to stay there, and just a little backstory about who you are.
Sure. Long story short, I moved from London after college and landed in Chicago, Illinois. Um, After working there, I moved to Austin, Texas. And I've been to other places. I've had a stint in Phoenix and South Beach, Miami, and I've traveled to LA and New York. So I like traveling, but in terms of where I was living, I moved to Chicago. Then I moved to Austin, Texas. And there were three things that happened, kind of the perfect storm why I landed in Jamaica. First and foremost, my mum wanted to retire in her homeland, Jamaica. And then that kind of coincided with COVID. And then just kind of a lot of the, just the political things that, I don't want to go into, but socioeconomics, race relations, things that were happening in America, why she wanted to go home.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Jamaica. I'm still getting to know it now that I'm back. But yeah, those were the things. And then we were in Austin, Texas. So while my mother was visiting, we had that snowstorm in Texas. And that was the thing. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. If you're in Austin, Texas, the capital of Texas, and it's a tech hub, and Apple's there and everyone's there, and you're 10 days without water, gas, electricity, you realize that we were thrown into the Stone Age. And I was like, you know what? I'm out. Mom, when you come back, let's go. And that's how it
That's
happened.
that's terrific, man. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So how's it been since you've landed there and you've been there for a while now? I mean, what's your impression of living there, and do you live near the capital, in the capital, or are you outside?
No. In Jamaica, there's the south. I'm on the North Shore, so I'm literally between Montego Bay, the North Airport, and Ocho Rios, where some
Okay.
of the bigger ships come in, and I'm in the middle, Discovery Bay, which even to narrow it down even more, I'm between Falmouth, another port, and Runaway Bay.
Yeah. Okay. So
Mhm.
how does it feel there? I mean, what's your impression since you've been there?
Here's the thing, like with the cost of living, so it's better economically, absolutely.
Yes.
However, there are some rules. So, like moving anywhere turns you into an entrepreneur by default, right? You're managing the business of you, and in some cases, your family, right?
Hmm.
So, as a rule of thumb, like in America, housing, like, when the Californians moved to Texas, the rents went up. So, housing, like in New York and San Francisco, is very high, but food and clothing are relatively cheap for us in
Yes.
America.
Yeah.
The reverse is here.
Okay.
Cost of living is low, but because of living on an island, it's exponentially the food and clothing are higher.
Oh, wow.
So understanding import and export is always key to wherever you're going in the world. Now I know, because you've got different duties, custom fees, and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, okay. Well, awesome. Did you, being the, do you have citizenship in Jamaica? Do you have a?
So my story is kind of unique because I'm Jamaican by blood and,
Yes.
relative, and it's recognized. But a funny story is, I have a green card, right? I'm naturalized in America. So every time I come to America, Jamaica, I always forget that I'm not allowed to stay out of the country or in the country for more than 3 months. Because in my ignorance, which happens when you get westernized, I guess, and you don't know the nuances, I'm like, this is my mum. I went to school there. What are you talking about? But you get a 3 month stay. So
Hmm.
when I realized that, I thought I could just go to immigration, fill out the form, and say, I could get citizenship by my mother residency, which is relatively easy, because 15,000, I think,
Hmm.
which is 100 US dollars. And so if
Okay.
you have a relative, you can do that. With what they did with me is, I have a British passport. So
Okay.
they just stamped unconditional leave because of my association with my mum. With remote working or Americans coming down, there's a way to apply and explain, call the Jamaican embassy and let them know. I don't know what the rules and regulations are. I know there isn't specifically, when COVID hit, a remote visa.
Okay.
People are talking about it, and now
Yeah.
that the world has changed. So it makes sense to go to and email someone or contact the embassy, because they're very open to it, because,
Sure.
revenue.
Yeah, after talking to quite a few people across the globe, there's a lot of these countries that have created like what they call a digital nomad visa,
Yes. Yes.
and it's enticing for a lot of people to live there, especially if it's affordable, especially if
Yes.
housing is affordable, and especially if it's a beach. They have beaches, and I
Exactly.
mean, it's really enticing to go and live there for a period of time, especially when you're working online.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For sure.
so so that's what they have there. Sounds like they have some kind of like a digital nomad type visa that they offer.
No, no, no. It's not something I'm aware of. I know that there's a call for it, and because Jamaica, I think one of the appeals with Jamaica, why, if they haven't already, they are exploring this digital nomad visa, is because Jamaica is so Americanized, but still has its own culture and pride.
Yeah.
So they're used to, you can spend the dollar, and you can in some of the other islands, but you see the Americanism. Like, there's a Burger King here. There's,
Yeah.
like, get this, KFC is a delicacy here, the way
Yeah.
Taco Bell is in Hawaii or something. It's weird. So, it's weird.
You got to start a movement to push that stuff out of there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think I have a colleague of mine. She's writing a visa or requirement to show to the government that the needs of the people coming and working with PICA, which is the Passport Immigration Association.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for people who are do you know anything about people who are interested in say I'm just going to move to and I want to live, um possibly retire, but I just want to go and live in Jamaica. Is it difficult, the visa process, for people, retirees, or people that just really want to call it home and say I want to go, maybe buy a place, I'll rent
Yeah.
first, but I want to live there?
So it's funny you should say that, because you just mentioned my whole how it happened. My mother was visiting family here, and when the ball was rolling, this is literally how it happened. Called iContainer, that's a plug, probably shameless plug, because I was researching. Because, you go online and there's a lot of these brokers that will give you all these wicked prices, and then it goes up. So I found out what the requirement was as a returnee, because my mother is a Jamaican citizen or birth returning. So she has a different set of forms to fill in. Filled in all the forms, and within 3.5 weeks, listen to this, 3.5 weeks, we moved from a one-bedroom. I moved her from her one-bedroom in Austin, Texas, into a two-bedroom in Jamaica. From the container coming, TaskRabbit, people packing, sealing the 20-foot container, watching it drive off, to going to the wharf, customs, signing off everything, getting deposits back, and seeing the container loaded into her new home within 3.5 weeks. So when people talk about, you get ripped off at customs, and there's always this narrative of when you come home to some third world countries or developing countries, that the customs and everyone's on the tape. And it was not like that for us. Everything was done well. We crossed T's, dot I's. And again, I implore everyone to go to the government's website, because Jamaica's done a very good job of putting everything online and becoming digital.
Okay. So you can access all that stuff pretty much, and the visa requirement costs everything online.
Oh, yeah. And people can ask me for links, and just, I'll give them exactly what I did, because I had a great transition from America. I didn't even know that they shipped from Houston. It went to Houston down here, and I was able to track the ship on the way here, which was amazing.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's convenient. Technology, man. GPS even on the ships today. Crazy.
Telling you. Yeah.
So as far as like affordability and finding a flat when you first arrive, I mean, what are the going rates in Jamaica? What can you find a decent?
I love that you said flat. I love that you said flat. Brooklyn to London, I get it. A flat. Here they're still saying apartment. So the range is, I've paid for Airbnb for 1 month while we were looking for an apartment. So when we flew and the cargo was in transition, we stayed at an Airbnb. Sorry, my battery. We went to an Airbnb, and that was like $1,000 a month for the month, everything. And
okay.
Here's probably the most lucrative thing about living in Jamaica. I had a 1-bedroom condo, ensuite bathroom, because the building that I was in had a lot of expats. 1 bedroom, beautiful. I'll send you some pictures. And I was paying 40,000 Jamaican dollars. That's the equivalent to roughly around $300 US.
Wow. So you can get a really nice apartment for $300 there.
Yes, on the North Shore. Now, Kingston,
wow,
the capital, is different. You can get 2,000, 3,000 US dollar equivalent flats, and those are in nice high rises, gated communities. Buy everything. There's it's called Uptown, which is kind of, I would compare Uptown to a gentrified Brooklyn.
Okay.
That would be where the prices went up.
Yeah.
You know what? I was going to say that I would probably compare Uptown to Manhattan, but Manhattan, it's not the same vibe. Brooklyn and Kingston have that, you know what I'm saying, that cool hip feel. Mm-hmm. But it's pricey. So, yeah.
And do you find that most of the expats that move to Jamaica, do they live in Kingston or outside?
No. The thing about expats in Jamaica is there are I've seen 3 types of expats. There's my generation, Gen X, where we're like, yo, the COVID thing, digital nomad, let's go around the world. We could do what we want. We're in our 40s, late 30s, you know what I mean? Then there are the baby boomers that I'm coming home to retire, so they probably have a home or inherited property, family property. And then there's the new set that are just, I'm coming to buy and invest property globally. So, and my generation usually has ties to Jamaica. Someone's either been here before, likes it, you know what I mean? So you're either baby boomer, to make myself clear, you're either baby boomer who has inherited home, or Gen X that has some links, one of your parents or both of them are from the Caribbean, and then people that just took the opportunity to get out when COVID happened. They all live everywhere because we're doing different research. Some people don't want to be in Kingston because it's not resort, it's the city. But for me, I work so much better because I don't hear an ambulance every day or police sirens. I look out and I see the ocean. that's the kind of world I wanted to create for my mom and I.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as far as real estate, can people buy real estate there? Can people that move there buy real estate?
Yeah, and it's hot commodity. I fear that it will. I I think the world has been gentrified, so we don't need to look at Brooklyn, San Francisco, Chicago, or Austin. I think everywhere I've been, it's happening, and that's because of money. .com millionaires, people are savvy. Youngsters are finding ways to make money on social media. So when you've got more money, you can buy more things, and when you can buy more things, it makes the area much better. And sure, it comes with its own issues, but in Jamaica, especially, property prices, the incline went from here many years ago and is doing the same thing everywhere else. It's becoming steep,
Okay.
and so you can get a nice condo for 300,000
Wow.
US dollars, and you can
Okay.
get a nice one for a million. But
Wow.
the condo building that I was in was a little older. You could rehab inside, and you could get them for 100,000. There's one going a one bedroom for 100,000. So if
Okay.
it's not in a gated community and it's not modern, you can get something for 100,000.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So it's not too far out of reach, but that's still pretty expensive,
It is. It is. I
you
think
know.
so. I think 100,000 for a one bedroom. Well, see, it's not. For me, I look at that as location where I am, a base. You can travel. It depends on the value you place in property now. You
Yeah.
know, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So all right, so a lot of people that go there, they're always interested in the healthcare and
Yes.
how much healthcare is.
Yeah.
Is there a national healthcare program in Jamaica or
I,
no?
again, the world we live in, technology. The narrative has always been from people that come from foreign, they say, from foreign countries, that the healthcare is bad. And I want to change that narrative that when you go to these places, because as you know, in America, the doctors are African, Caribbean, or Indian, and they've learned medicine, but their degrees might not be as powerful as, say, Johns Hopkins. So you've got to recertify. Well,
Yeah.
I always thought, well, what the hell do the superstars, musicians, and the politicians do here? I know they're not flying to Miami if they've got a hernia or something. So
Right.
there are good doctors here.
Sure.
Again, you have to research and pay for them. It's better, like in America, you get what you pay for, privatized.
Hmm.
However, I went online and I was looking at, I think it was Atna, or I Googled international healthcare, and I found that it is pricey, but for I think $4,000 a year, that's like a 353.33 premium, you can get global healthcare. And
Oh,
sometimes they've got stuff that's just for Jamaica and America. If you're coming from America, where wherever you are, cancer treatment, pregnancy, emergency room, flight transition if you need to. There are companies that, if you dig deep into researching insurance companies, they've got some great packages there where you've got such an amazing peace of mind.
well, this must be very specific to the Caribbean then, because you can't find anything like that 350 per year in America and
No,
in the
not
United
350 per
States.
year. It's 4,000 per year. It's 350 per month.
Oh,
That's
350 per month.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I
gotcha.
mean, but you pay. I think you pay in two installments, 2,000 down, and you know how insurance works. I didn't look at the fine print, but 4,000 for the year were one of the quotes that I got, and that was a
Gotcha.
pretty good package.
So that is comparable to what you'd get in the United States.
Yeah, yeah,
It sounds like you're going to pay about the same amount
yeah,
for the
yeah.
healthcare there.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what's going on with, like, what's the fun things to do? What do you do in and around Jamaica today?
Good question. Where do you start? Jamaica is is weird in that you and I could have met at a bar in Brooklyn or London if we were there, and I was like, "Oh man, I like your T-shirt," blah 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 blah. And it just matters. It depends on your personality. Jamaica doesn't work like that.
Hmm.
First of all, the resorts are usually people like so. So you come and stay with me, and we're at my apartment in Kingston. If we go to a resort, we'd have to pay to go onto the resort, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's like 80. just because we're using all the amenities, the pool and everything for a day thing. So you're really going to be hanging with people that are just there for a season.
Sure.
And they're not transient. They're just there for, you know, that resort experience. And some people, it's to their, it's kind of weird, and it's sad sometimes that they don't come off the resort because everything is in, and their business is to keep the money there. So I stay away from resorts. I say all that to say I stay away from resorts. But there's a place in Ocho Rios called Island Village that has a bar. It's got a dispensary for those that are into marijuana. There's a legal place to buy. There's beautiful restaurants, the KK Tavern, bar and lounge. Margaritaville is in there. You can buy spirits duty free. So it's made for, it's a really great mixture of tourism. This is what Jamaica's done very well. Everywhere that you go, the craft markets and things, they're done for tourists, but they're also done really well that locals and people that are expats can go and, you know, feel the vibe. One of the things that I'd recommend anybody to do, anybody, go to a market to buy fresh fruit. You won't understand a thing. They'll have to slow down and there'll be a language barrier and you might get overpriced because of your accent, and tourism is such a big thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, anywhere you go, price goes up because they hear your accent. It just happens. But it's a rewarding experience just culturally, just to be immersed and find out if you just like mangoes, go to a market and buy mangoes.
Yeah.
Because you get to feel it. Yeah.
So you mentioned marijuana. Is that legal in Jamaica?
No. So
wow.
No.
That's bizarre. I always thought it was.
I blame the popularity of Bob Marley and all that came with it. Because everybody thinks that, I think Amsterdam has more relaxed laws than Jamaica does. Yeah. But everybody in Jamaica knows Wagwan. Like, they know it's smoked in bars, it's smoked in public places. They don't, it's, how do I explain it? It's an unspoken rule because it's culture, Rastafarians. It's a part of culture. It's not this trippy Cheech and Chong thing. It's medicinal. It's a health thing. And the world took it and associated it with Jamaica. But you can't just walk around with a bag with a spliff, and it's frowned upon. And culturally, whilst it's widely accepted, people know their place. And you just have to look around and you'll know where you can smoke or can't smoke. But you will be able to smoke on beaches and have a good time.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like the police do any enforcing of that.
You won't go to jail for smoking marijuana. The only time you'll go to jail is if you find some good weed here and you try to take it on a plane or a ship and go and take it with you. That's when it's the problem.
Yeah. Bakunzi, is it really accessible? I mean, can you pretty much get it at anywhere around Jamaica?
Yeah. When are you coming? No, but yeah, it's very accessible.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
All of very capital V, capital E, capital R, capital Y. Yeah.
And the you know, Jamaica is known for reggae. And you know, and obviously Bob Marley put Jamaica on the map long ago. I've always said this to everybody that I've ever talked to about musicians, that he's, in my opinion, Bob Marley is the most popular musician in the entire world. And people go, oh, why do you say that? And I said, well, you know, I've been fortunate enough to where I've traveled a lot, and I've traveled all over the world. And the only person that you will hear in all of these places that I've been is Bob Marley. Yeah, so like you could go like, I was on the Red Sea in Egypt, and we're just hanging out, and all they played all day long, Bob Marley. You go anywhere in Central America, Bob Marley. You go anywhere South America, Bob Marley. You go along the Mediterranean in the summer, people are playing Bob Marley. Doesn't matter if it's Greece, Turkey, it just doesn't matter. The south of Spain, Bob Marley is played in every pocket of the world. And you're not going to hear Beatles. It's always just Bob Marley. And to be that successful, to put your mark on the planet like that. But the music's so amazing, right? His music was just so uplifting, powerful,
Folk music.
inspirational. Yeah,
Mhm.
man. It's just what do people still talk a lot about him? I'm guessing Ziggy lives on the island and he's probably um a huge celebrity that lives there, but do people still talk about the Marleys a lot?
They're very integrated into the community. I didn't mean to. What I was going to slip in about the Bob Marley, I was actually having a conversation with someone, and we were arguing whether it was Michael Jackson or Bob Marley. So I'm glad that you said that. That
Yeah.
the most known musician, but Bob Marley's played everywhere, and reggae is everywhere. The Marley family are they have businesses here. They're seen as national treasures.
Okay.
Their businesses. So they'll pop up to events. Jamaicans that are famous always maintain a presence on the island. They never forsake Jamaica. There's a lot of pride. It's almost like they're Texans, Nigerians, or British, but there's a very deep pride, and they always buy a home here, help the community, have businesses, and do a lot to uplift and change the narrative and give a positive image of Jamaica. So you'll always hear about them doing something or a business, or you'll just know, oh, that's so and so's store, that's so and so's dispensary, or that's so and so Tough Gong, which is their brand. I don't know if the family still owns it outright, but
Mhm.
they've got places, around.
Does Ziggy play at all around the island? Do they ever perform? Or the
Uh,
Whalers anymore?
I'm sure they do. One of the whalers just died, actually recently, and that is big news when one of the
Hmm.
older OGs of the music industry. I'm not sure. I've not been to too many concerts, but there's always an event, always an event somewhere at some stadium, Ultra Rio. So they're always performing.
Hmm. And is most of the music there that people perform? I'm guessing that there are a lot of resorts. I know that, and there's a lot of people that travel to Jamaica
Mm-hmm.
for the resorts, and I'm guessing they play reggae nonstop at those resorts. But outside of the resorts, where you see, local artists, do they primarily play reggae, or are there a variety of different artists playing different um, forms of music?
I will say this. This is one of the reasons I love Jamaica is their music, is the musical choice. I've got a bar that I really like, Good Vibrations in Discovery Bay, right? He plays 50s, 60s, and 70s soul. So you'll get the reggae versions of it because reggae, a lot of times, the reggae version, they always love to do covers like Fast Car by Tracy Chapman,
Hmm.
things like that. And they'll always do a reggae cover. Soul Survivor by Michael Bolton is very big here. Singing Melody does a lot of covers, but they play such a wide variety of music. And for the Gen X in us, they love, for some reason, they love 90s R&B and hip hop.
Hmm.
That era, like 90s to early 2000 R&B and hip hop for the crowd. When you go to Margaritaville or some of those places, they play a lot of the 50 Cent, some of the youngster stuff now, like Drake. But it's so amazing when you go to a lot of bars, you're going to hear Karen White, Superwoman, to early Jay-Z stuff, mixing with Bob Marley. And
Hmm.
it's eclectic, but it just tells you that era that they're in, which is really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of reggae and a lot of musicians.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
This is literally the view. Uh,
Oh, cool, man.
this is literally the view from my mother's apartment. There you go.
Wow.
And that's Discovery Bay. That's the bay.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Uh,
What a beautiful view.
oh, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah. Now I'm
All
so jealous and
right.
envious. You shouldn't have done that, man. It's not right. Oh man. Do you guys do you ever head down to the beach? Do you go swimming much, or is
Oh
surfing
yeah.
big and that kind of stuff there? Kite surfing or
I see paragliding. I don't really see those type of extreme sports. Paragliding. Kite surfing. I'm sure there are people that do it, especially on the east, quieter end of the island. But for the most part, it's tubing. Puerto Seco Beach, which is our local private beach, they do festival of floats, and they have a big. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm in the water quite a bit.
Yeah, nice. Is there a dive culture there? Do they do a lot of scuba diving or snorkeling?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
do.
A lot of people get certified. They come here to get certified. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. So getting around Jamaica, what is the mode of transportation for people getting around?
Um, Typically, most people, you're at the mercy of cabs. Um, it takes some learning and getting used to. Um, there is a bus service, Knutsford Express, that goes from the major cities. Um, you have to get to know a cab person. You definitely, that would be one of the first things. If you're not on a resort, one of the first things you should do is get the number of someone, a taxi driver that you can charter. And again, transportation is one of those reverse things where it might be cost effective in America, but it's pricey here. So, for
Hmm.
example, for me to go to the airport and back a round trip is $100 US, and that's the equivalent of me going from, I don't know, maybe Newark to Brooklyn.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay, so
that's
you're
100.
not that far.
Right, right. I'm 45, maybe 45 minutes. But one of the things that you have to take into account is, and this is hilarious because you have to change the way you think when you put little cultural nuances. When a driver, everything is round trip because the thought process is I gotta go to you and then I gotta go home. They never charge you
Uh,
from the point of origin to the point of destination. And at
wow.
first you could be like, why am I paying? And they're like, we've been transparent. It's gas, it's this, it's the economy, it's this. We pay tolls and stuff, so that's the cost. And I was like, you know what? I'm with it. I respect it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it's
That's
done there.
how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Mhm.
Do people ride scooters there? Is scooters a mode of transportation at all?
Um, they are in the grill where you can rent them because that's a very high resort. I usually say I used to live in Austin. um, they put those things, the Sedgeways and scooters, around the college or
Yeah.
the cool kids, and so that's in the high tourist areas. Not so much in Ochi, but in the grill, because just liability, drinking, and
Yeah.
it would probably cost much more in the consequences than actually having fun. So you'll see one or two people with mopeds, if they're fortunate enough to have them or can afford them, they zip
Hmm.
around. But like in Thailand or in Asia or in India, they've got those yang yang,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
little. They have mostly those here.
I see. Now you said the grill. What do you mean the grill? What is that?
No, Negril.
The grill. Oh, gotcha.
Negril is like, I'll tell you what Negril is like. Negril is like Cancun.
Okay.
It's a very that's a very loose comparison, but it's like what Daytona Beach, Cancun was for the Yo MTV rap era. Yeah, spring break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that more of a high cost area to live in, Negril?
Yes, yes and no. If you live in Negril, you probably are employed in tourism. So it's
Gotcha.
dope for you. If you're in Montego Bay is like a second city. So Montego Bay, I would compare. Let's say Kingston is Washington, or Brooklyn. The vibe of Brooklyn, but let's just say Washington D.C. being the capital, Kingston being the capital. Mo Bay might be New York. It's just a
Okay.
second city. It's a second city. So there's a lot of business. So if there's an office in Kingston, there's an office in Montego Bay because that's where the second airport is. That's why
Mm,
it's so important for
gotcha.
travel and commerce. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, the cost of living in different places is going to depend on what you do for work.
Mhm. Okay. And we haven't covered the food and
Mm.
what you guys eat over there, and the big jerk chicken and all the good tasty food that we have out in Brooklyn too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some
Let's
good
see.
stuff. But like to go to a typical Jamaican restaurant where you're going to get an authentic, Jamaican meal. What will people typically pay for that when you move there? For people that are going to move, visiting, and they're going to go to a typical restaurant, what are you going to put out for a couple people going out to dinner?
I would say 1,500, $100, $100 equivalent, 15,000,
Okay.
15,000 Jamaican.
Wow.
And this is for what I'm describing is a whole fish.
Okay.
Like you see the tail and
Yep.
you see the eyes and you
Yeah.
see the vegetable and the sides and the drink for 4 people.
Yeah. Now, are there any places in Jamaica where you can go and there's like restaurants that have like barbecues, you can eat outside, you can get the fish, you can get and it's really affordable and it's really cheap? I know that there's places like that all over Central America.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's a beach in Jamaica called Fisherman's Beach, and it's in Discovery Bay. I got here at 9 o'clock. My mum and I got here relatively late in the evening, got here at 9 o'clock, and a phone call was made. And what I really love is the Fisherman's Beach. You see the fishermen and the fish, you know you're eating fresh.
Hmm.
Straight from the sea, like 2, 3 o'clock that morning on my
Yep.
plate in the evening. I loved it, and it was done really well. It was in a style called escovitch, which is a way of frying fish with pepper and carrots, and it was
Hmm.
delicious.
Hmm. What do they
So,
serve with it?
you can have orders. You can have plantain, bami, which is like a ground corn pressed together.
Hmm.
Fried plantains, I said already. Festival, which is a sweet bread.
Hmm.
It's fried dumplings, and
Mm.
then rice and peas. And so you can get a good meal. Um, it's comparable because I went to Burger King yesterday, only because it was the most convenient thing when I was downtown, and it was 1,200, which was just under $10. So it's roughly the same,
Hmm.
but you can eat so much healthier and authentic. So if you go to get jerk chicken, a jerk chicken dinner small, you can get for like $600, which
Hmm.
is like $3 or $4. Like literally a jerk chicken meal with
Hmm.
jerk chicken leg and a thigh, jerk chicken and chips. You can get stewed chicken,
Mm.
fish, cow foot, oxtail, and you can get oxtail is a bit pricier, running at around 1,000, 1,200, or curried goat, which is about 2,000, but very inexpensive cost wise.
It sounds like there's no shortage of great food over there.
There isn't, and it's all fresh. Like it's you feel the difference. Like your taste buds, you literally feel the freshness of the food because they've got a whole set of GMO rules and regulations that they don't allow. The bleach isn't as strong here.
Hmm.
McDonald's isn't here, and I was like, why isn't there a McDonald's? This is Jamaica. They want their beef here. That's why KFC is so popular here. If they use their chicken, it's like really, really healthy, very
Hmm.
healthy.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So those are all the questions that I typically ask. Do you have any, like, for people that, or if you had any friends or people that are interested in moving to Jamaica, is there anything else that you can think of that we didn't cover that would be beneficial for them to know?
Yeah. Do you know what? Um, Forget everything you know about Jamaica if you're coming. Jamaicans outside of Jamaica, very, achieve a lot. They're noted, but it's when you come here, have a wipe the slate clean and just immerse yourself in the culture. Try not to have oh, I've seen this before, seen this before. Try to become a kid again.
Mm.
Know somebody on the ground. It's not enough to just join a group online. Find a reputable guide or an expat like myself that's either providing tips or a relocation service. If you're going to move to Jamaica, visit at least twice. First, as a tourist. Go as a tourist. Take me here, feel safe, wear your fanny pack jewelry, look like a tourist. Then the second one, venture out, like go see an apartment, avoid the media. I've lived in Chicago for 15 years and the violence there it's not worse in Jamaica. Be careful, it's a scary place. narratives are always, the media is so full of negativity. So to ignore the media. Once you're talking to an expat, they'll tell you where to go like anywhere else. Don't hang out on certain corners at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And just trust me, it's Jamaica's a very, very beautiful place. But I think when we go to places like the Amazon rainforest, as an example, we'll go to the Amazon rainforest and look at all the wildlife and all the creatures we've never seen before. And then we get into our, I'd like a Starbucks there. Oh, I'd really love my favorite deli there. And then we find ourselves wanting some of the creature comfort. But if we just spend a good amount of time immersing yourself, finding your tribe, then you're setting the foundation for a much better experience. Because I think so many assumptions come with Jamaica because it's Jamaica. You know what I mean? And you can have that, but just come, because it's evolved so much since even I've been here at school, and things have changed quite a lot. And in positive ways, it's really a beautiful place. But just come with an open mind and listen to people that have done it before, and to give you the best experience. And write a list of who you are. I like writing. I want to do yoga by the beach. I want to find a place where I can do pottery classes. I like comedy shows. Write it and find it, and it's here. But you just have to search more, because there isn't a very good Yelp or Google review system here. It's all word of mouth and who you know.
And all of that stuff is so you mentioned I remember there was a Jamaican dance company that came to Brooklyn when I was in grad school there, and I went to see them, and they were absolutely brilliant. So they have it was a professional dance company. I can't remember the name, but they're from Jamaica. There's a lot of talented artists in Jamaica in many ways. In that, you think of it as just there's a lot of great musicians there, but there's just a lot of talented artists all over Jamaica. I'm guessing they have really great theater. So my impression of Jamaica is it's like one of these places that I think a lot of people dream of wanting to live there. It's like a dream location to live there. You
can. It is just in the last, I think it's a great time, because just in the internet, sometimes, JPS, there are some problems with infrastructure, I will admit. One of the reasons you and I were timing this was the power went out, the internet, and that kind of happens. But what's his name? Elon Musk, Starlink has just got here. Like literally in the last couple of weeks, Starlink is here. Bit pricey, but great internet, satellite. So the infrastructure is here, and once it's powered by solar, which is huge here, it's about money and it's about planning. A lot of stuff costs, like solar costed, or the iPhone, the first one, they all cost a lot in the beginning, but prices gradually go down when there's group buy. And so, it really is a great place. You can live anywhere you want to if you just do the proper planning and you visit and you know what you want. And Jamaica, for me, just by default and bloodline, has been a remarkable experience. Very rewarding.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, thank you. Bakunzi Matemane. Thank you so much, buddy, for doing this, man.
Thank you. We'll chat soon. I'm coming to Brooklyn. I definitely got to buy a beer.
I appreciate you. When I come to Jamaica, buddy, you're gonna be my guide. You're gonna show me around, my man.
I'm gonna show you a good time.
Yeah, let me know what and whatever links you want to share, and for people that can reach out to you and get some guidance. We can put that up here at the end of the podcast so that they can find you and reach you. And,
all right.
And thanks again for doing this, bud.
No, this was brilliant. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure meeting you too. And you have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you. I'll be catching up with you.
Okay.